Early on in Donald Trump's term, he very quickly became the most anti-union president in American history since 1930s. He was the first president to ever fire a member of the National Labor Relations Board, not just any member, but the chair of the National Labor Relations Board. What does this National Labor Relations Board, the NLRB, what does it do? Well, it oversees all regulations regarding the right of workers to unionize. So if you want to submit an election to unionize your workplace, you go to the NLRB. If one of your employers illegally bars you from trying to organize your workers, goes to the NLRB. Donald Trump fired the chair of the NLRB, dropping it from 3 members down to 2. Meaning that the body did not even have the ability to reach quorum to ever meet or make decisions, practically eliminating all union rights in America. Donald Trump did that in his first week of office. This was a huge deal. 1, no president has ever done this. 2, 3 reasons. 2, goes directly against the written statute of the law, saying you can only fire these people if they are going against the reason for the board's existence or they're a bad worker. And then 3 is it goes against the Supreme Court case Humphrey's Executor from the mid-1930s. This court case is the basis of our government, okay? This Supreme Court case happened in the 30s when FDR came to power and he wanted to change the way government was working. And he hated one of the guys at the Federal Trade Commission. He hated him. He was appointed by Calvin Coolidge. This guy believed that the FTC was a communist plot. He hated him. So FDR fired him. In a unanimous decision, the Supreme Court said, FDR, you are not allowed to fire him because these independent agencies were given insulation by Congress for a reason. Congress did not want the president to have full power to hire and fire these people because they wanted them to be functions of the government, not at the whims of partisans. Donald Trump said, fuck all that, fired her. Just now, 15 minutes ago, hot off the presses, Wilcox, that's her name, is ordered by a federal judge to get reinstated to her position.
Wilcox, the head of the NLRB, who Trump fired. I don't know. As you described that, it just struck me how obviously illegal what he just did is. Again, the statute of what created the NLRB specifically says it is independent as from the president and from the president's control. And we have the Supreme Court precedent saying, with a unanimous decision, saying you can't fire those people.
Clarence Thomas, however, and the entire conservative legal ecosystem has been trying to overrule Humphrey's Executor for the last 40 years. And now Donald Trump thinks this is his time to do it. The Republican Party and the conservative legal movement thinks that this can be the case to finally end this. And if that happens, Congress will have basically no ability to regulate private enterprise. It will basically be handicapped to do so because Congress will never be able to pass a law with enough enforcement mechanisms in place. It will be totally at the whims of the president. Congress will lose all of its ability to regulate private capital. Completely.
Exactly.
Clarence Thomas wants to end this thing. It's now clear to me Donald Trump wants to end this thing. Donald Trump has no desire to make it easy or even legal to, or Donald Trump wants to make it legal to union bust. And the easiest way to do that is not to change the law, but to take it over.
Well, my perspective here is that it's honestly not really about unions. It's not about organized labor. This is just Donald Trump having it out for any entity in the executive branch that does not report directly to him. The NLRB just happens to be one of the very important casualties of that crusade of his to take over. And so it's a big deal now that this federal court is saying, no, you do not get tyrannical rule over the executive branch.
And there's another woman who I forgot her name, and I'm sorry, but there's going to be a Supreme Court case about her too, who is basically like the overseer of all civil servant complaints in the government, right? If you get unwarrantedly fired, you go to her to make the claim. And the reason for that person existing is to insulate it from any type of political malfeasance that might be going on in the system. Well, Donald Trump fired her, and then she sued, got her job back, but she still has to go through the process of the Trump appealing the decision. She's fighting it. That's going to go all the way to the Supreme Court. And these cases are all about the role of the president. And in this 36-page opinion, putting Wilcox back onto the NLRB, the judge says the president is not a king. You are taking authority that was not granted to you. It is not your place to fire her, and you're going to be stopped.